Hey, this is Rick from Hiking Emergency Beacon, and I think you're going to notice I've got my GPSMAP 66i back on my pack. It's a Garmin satellite messenger, and I've gone back from my Mini 2 to the GPSMAP 66i. And I just want to explain a few things to you real quick, or just tell you why I'm doing this. As of this time, the Garmin inReach Mini 2 is still my favorite satellite messenger. Primarily because it has a lot of power, a lot of functions, has a long battery life, it's small, it's about twice as small as this, and I like smaller devices. It has some great features on it that I love, the tracking, the track back, tells you when you're on and off course. But I've decided to go back and look at the GPSMAP 66i a bit more, because it has so much more power, as in functions, than the Mini 2. The Mini 2 has more functions than most of you will ever want. So I still will say, for most people I would give advice to, I'm going to say, take a hard look at the Mini 2. I love that satellite messenger. This one here, one thing I noticed when Mike and I were on a fishing trip, and he's got the Montana 750i, and then I was using this the 66i. And we were sharing our location, and Mike was coming from Oklahoma. I was already here in Colorado. I live here, and I had found a campsite, and I was sending him my location. It was a lot easier to share my location on the 66i, because when I went to send a message, there was an option there to share my location. I shared my location with Mike. Mike would get that, be able to click on it, and then be able to get directions right to where I was at. I think that is a better feature with the 66i than the Mini 2. That's just one of the reasons I'm coming back and looking at the 66i more. I'm just being honest with you on this review. When I was walking out here to set up to do this video, I can see this 66i sitting right here. Now, this is one of the best places to put your satellite messenger. It's away from you. It has a good view of the sky. I use this Garmin backpack tether. I use it on almost all of my satellite messengers from Garmin. But when I'm walking, I see it sitting right here. And sometimes I want to kind of direct it a little bit away from me. But visually, it's in my field of view, where the Mini 2 is also in my field of view, but it's so much smaller, and I really rarely recognize that it's even on my pack. So that was one of the things that's kind of a downer for me. I just like smaller devices, but we're all different, and you may like a larger device. I know my buddy Mike loves the 700i, and it's way bigger than the 66i. But I've decided to go back to the 66i, at least for a while, to do some more in-depth tests on it. Just as today on my Garmin Fenix Sapphire 7X Sapphire Solar. I'll leave a description below. This is a great watch, and I'm going to be testing it here in a little bit. But there's so much function in this watch, I have to break it down and do a field test on each individual aspect for me to get to learn it and not to overwhelm you with the long videos. I'm going to be doing the same thing with the 66i. I'm going to break it down, shorter field tests of things that each individual thing it does. Now, I may not do all of them because there's, 40 things you can do on it, and I may be off a little bit there. But I am going to break it down to features that I use the most and look at those by themselves and not look at everything in one field test. So that's what this video is about. I just wanted to come out here and tell you the Mini 2 is still my favorite satellite messenger as of this day. But I'm going back, taking a hard look at the 66i. So keep an eye out for a lot more videos on the 66i coming up.